This is Gemara Zevachim, Daf Samoch Dalid. We're holding on Samoch Gimel Amid Beis. We're about 10 lines from the bottom at the two dots as we continue quoting the din in the Mishnah. The din in the Mishnah about the Chatas Ha'oif. Said the Mishnah, B'chol Makayim Ha'isa Keshera. It's kosher in any place, but said the Mishnah, Daraim Ma'ariv, southwest, was its correct place. We like once again the learning to be an incredible schos refuah shalema for Gabriel Simcha ben Miriam Ahuva b'seich sha'ar chili Yisrael. Says the Gemara, my kamar, what in the world does the Mishnah mean? B'chol makayim? No, you do it southwest. I don't understand. That means that it should be done in the southwest. So what's going on? The malika, the shchita of a bird with the kayin's thumb, that is kosher in any place. However, the southwestern corner was the place for the sprinkling. And we learned in our Brayso 5 lines on the bottom. If you did the malika anywhere on the mizbeach, it's kosher. He's if he sprinkles down with the blood, if he squeezed, but he did not. If he did the sprinkling, but he did not squeeze out the blood from the bird, ksheira. Ubilvad sheyitain. One thing which is critical, the dam has to be placed mechota sikra ulemata and midam hanefesh, from the lifeblood. It has to be placed there. That's the one detail that we cannot forgive on, and that is the one detail that would indeed be me'akiv. Says the Gemara, my kamar, what does the Brayso mean? It says, firstly, which implies anywhere. But then it ends, ubelvad lamata, mechota sikra. So what's going on? Is it after lamata or is it b'chol makayim? Says the Gemara, chikamar malka b'chol makayim. Again, the malika can be anywhere, but mizbeach it's ksheira. Mitzvah b'chol makayim mizbeach. Ksheira, if you squeeze out the blood anywhere on the mizbeach, it is kosher. As we turn over to Samach Daled Amud Aleph, and continues the Gemara, she'em hizav le'mitzvah ksheira. Why is it kosher anywhere? Because if you indeed sprinkled without squeezing out the blood, it is as well kosher. Ubelvad, the one detail that's necessary, shitim chotasikra lamata midam ha nefesh. We continue quoting the Mishnah, Shleisha Devarim. The Mishnah said 3 avodas are done lamata mechotasikra, chatas oif, the mincha, and the shiari adam, the remnants of the blood. Says the Gemara, chatas oif adamar, as we just said. Hagasha is to bring you close to the mincha, the chsev, v'yish al mizbeach. Shiari adam, the chsev, es kol adam yishbaich el yisoid hamizbeach. We continue quoting the next part of the Mishnah, Melamal ani sachamayim v'yayin, v'oilas oiv, k'shi rabba memizbeach. And what are the things that are done lemala, above the chotasikra? Nisachamayim, the pouring of the libations of the water, the wine, and the oilas oif, when there were too many kahanim, particularly on the east side. My time, the Rav Yechlan says the Gemara, my time, what is the reason of the din of the Mishnah? Rav Yechlan Amar, and they should krayva mi beis hadeshen, because excuse me, this corner is the right place. Why? Because it's closest to the beis hadeshen, the place where the ashes were, which is where they had to put the other parts of the oif of the bird, and therefore that is where the dam should be placed as well. Amar Rav Yechanan, Borei, come and see kama gadol koychan shel koyanim. How great is the koyach, is the strength of the koyanim. Shein l'cha kal ba'ifos yoser mimurya. Because it's nothing lighter than the crap of the bird, v'noitza, and the feathers. Pavish ha'koyin zarik yoser mi b'shleishim ama. And there are times the koyin would throw it more than 30 amos. So what's the chiddush? The chiddush here is something so light is difficult to throw so far. Yet, when they would do the avodah, he would have to throw it extremely far, as we'll see in a moment. So it must be that the Kehanim were very strong. Where do we see this? Ditanan. 13 lines down, Samach Dalet Amud Aleph. First one on line is Ditanan. We learned in the Mishnah and Tamid. Natal Machta Shel Kesef. They take the silver shovel, V'alo L'Reisham Mizbeach. Upina. It's like a chalim. They move the coals, they move the coals to the side of a chat, and they take a scoop. He's happening in the innermost coals. The coin goes down, he gets to the floor. And he turns northward, and he goes in the east of the ramp. How far? Approximately 10 amos. And what does he do there? He piles up the coals. Where? Al Gabe Aritzva, on the floor. Rachik min hakevesh. Shleisha Zevachim. So we're at a distance of 10 amos, 3 Zevachim away from the ramp. Makaim, which was the place, and this is the detail that we're quoting. Makaim, the place, Shenaistim, that they would place. Moria, the crop of the bird, says the Gemara. Vinaitza, and the feathers. V'dishan mizbeach hapanimi v'hamenayra, and the clearing out of the mizbeach hapanimi and the menaira, says the Gemara. So that's how we see that the Kehanim had to manage to get the Moria and the Naitza, the crop and the feathers, to that place. So ask the Gemara, but wait, but this is more than 31 amos away. Makam Gavri loichashav, the place where they're standing, we do not count. Now, in order to understand how we get to this area, maybe for a moment we should realize that the Kohanim are throwing the Moria Ha'oif and the Naitza from on top of the Mizbeach all the way down to this place of the area that the Gemara is saying is the same place that they would put these Ma'acheliyos Hapanimiyos, these innermost coals. So let's take a moment, and again, courtesy of Art School, they have a beautiful picture over here, which really shows us where the Kayin was. As you can see, the Kayin is standing on top of the Mizbeach, excuse me, and you see the place of the ashes on the floor next to the Mizbeach. And now you got to pull out your calculator, Shtickle Pythag, Thorim Theorem. And now we could see that in order to get the ashes, in order to get the Naitz and the Moria, it's really going 31 amos. Says the Gemara, the place where the Kehanim are standing, we do not count. And now we continue. Kol ha'olam the Mizbeach, says the Gemara, quoting the Mishnah, that what did the Mishnah tell us? To anyone who goes up the Mizbeach, you always make right turns. Says the Gemara. Except for, but then the Mishnah continued that in the 3 aforementioned cases of the Nisach HaMayim, the Nisach HaYayin, and the Oila Saif, then he's going to be going the other way. He's going to be making a left turn. So the question is, why in these 3 cases do we not follow the regular rule? My time, says the Gemara 6 lines from the bottom. Rav Yechanan Misachim. When it comes to the libations, Shema Yisashnu, they might absorb smoke. If you're going to walk around the entirety of the Mizbeach, the Yayin and the Mayim might absorb some of the smoke, and we don't want that. Va'ilas Oif, what's the problem? Shema Tambos Ba'ashan. The bird might die from the smoke. Again, you didn't do the Malika yet. The bird's alive. So therefore, you want to go quickly to the area that you're going to shech the bird. Ask the Gemara V'Reminhu. A kasha from a Mishnah. Baloi like it was a Mizbeach. Me'enu maschil. When the Kohen Gadol comes to circle the Mizbeach, where does he begin? Mikeren Shemis Mizrachis. Southeast. Mizrach is finest. Northeast. Soinis Marav is northwest. Ma'aravish Troimis southwest. And said the Mishnah therein, Tamid, what do you do next? And Yayin Linesech, and he pours the wine there. So what do we see? We see that even when it comes to the Yayin Nesech, Nisachim of the Yayin, you're going to go the regular right turn. Amar Rav Yechanan. As we turn over to Samach Dalam and Beit teaches Rav Yechanan, Hakafa Biregel. He walked around the Mizbeach on foot, and he's not holding the wine right now. And they only gave him the wine when he reached the southwest corner. Amar Rava Dekanami, I'll bring you a right Dekatani. No, so Yayin Lenasech, they handed the Kohen Gadol the wine to pour. Lekatani Omer Lo Nasech. Shema Mina. So what was the whole concern? The whole concern was if you make a right turn and you walk all the way around the Mizbeach, we have to be worried that the wine is going to get smoky. We asked for the Mishnah and Tami that seemingly the Kohen Gadol was doing that, and explains the Gemara, no, he was not holding the wine at that time. Tana Rabbanan, 3 lines down, Samach Dalet Amud Beis. Kol oilin lemazbeach, oilin derech yamin. You go up the Mizbeach, you go to the right. The Yarden derech Shmolin, you go up down the left. Oilin derech Mizrach, you go up eastward. Yarden derech Ma'ariv, southward. Chutz min ha'oil, l'shleisha dvarim, except for one who goes up for 3 reasons. Halalu. These 3 reasons, oilin derech Ma'ariv, you go up westward. Yarden derech Ma'ariv. Oilin derech yamin, Yarden derech yamin. Derech yamin. Ask the Gemara, no, derech Shmolu. If you go Ma'ariv, it's on the left. Amar Avina Tani Shmuel. Amar Avina Tani, you're right, small. Rav Amar, my Yamin, what does it mean? Yamin the Mizvech, my small the Gavra. Vinisni, I do the Gavra. Says the Gemara, then why are we switching mid-text? It's very difficult to understand. If in the middle you switch your perspective, says the Gemara, you're right. It is indeed difficult. And Kasha, we leave it off with a question. Now we continue with the Mishnah. At the end of the narrow lines of Samach Dalet Amud Beis, really picking up from what we learned in the previous Mishnah on Samach Gimel Amud Aleph, which is the Oila Soif. Chata Soif. Says the Mishnah, Chata Soif Ketzar Hayanasis. Allah lekavish v'anu l'seivi b'al karen joyvis mizrachis. Hayamayleik es reisha. They performed the malika on its head. Mimol arpa. Opposite the nape, the neck. V'yenai mavdil. They were not separate. Umazeh. And you would sprinkle umidam al kera mizbeach. Some of the blood on the wall of the mizbeach. Shiari adam the remnant. Hayamis matzeh ala yisoid. He would squeeze onto the base of the mizbeach. V'yenai mizbeach al adama. And the Mizbeach only gets the blood. No part of the actual oif, of the actual bird of the chatos goes in the Mizbeach. Rather, the kula lekehanim, it all goes to the kohanim. Says the Gemara, Tana Rabbanan, v'hiza midam hamiz chatos. And he should sprinkle the blood of the chatos. What does this pasuk teach us? Migova chatos. Haketzad. How does he do this? Eiches beroish. He holds the head, ubagov, and the body, umazeh, and he sprinkles. Al kira mizbeach on the wall of the mizbeach, v'lo kira kevish, on the wall of the ramp. V'lo kira echol, on the wall of the echol. V'lo kira ulam, on the wall of the ulam. Veizem. And what wall are we talking about? Zekira tachta, in the lower wall. Lo ino el kira el yoin v'denu ma behim, mashallah salamata, chatasam. Lemaila, abehema. Where's the down place? Lemata. Lemata of what? Again, the chuta sikra, the line running around the mizbeach. Chata, the oila goes lemata. Yet the chatasa, a chatas of a behema, goes lemaila. Oif shalas lemaila. In addition, chatasa lemaila says the Gemara, the dam should be above the chuta sikra, the red line. Talmud Loimar says the Torah of Anishar B'dam Yimatzei Al Yisrael Mizbeach, which is left over, you squeeze on the side of the Mizbeach. From here we learn out Kir Shashirin Shaloi Mitmatzim Li Yisaid, the wall that the blood drains into the base. Veizeh Zeh Kira Tachtoin. This is the lower wall of the Mizbeach underneath the Chot HaSikra. Ask the Gemara of an Evan Me'iloi v'Hadin Evan Mitatoi. Ask where I don't understand. let him sprinkle the blood above, and then sprinkle and squeeze again below. Amar Rava miksiv yimatzeh. Does it say he should squeeze yimatzeh ksiv? It should be squeezed. The memela mashra happens on its own. It drips down onto the base on its own after the haza'ah. Says the Gemara, Amar Rav Zutra, going a little bit deeper into this Chatas Ha'if. Bar Tovia, Amar Rav Ketan Molkin, Chatas Ha'if, how do you perform the Malika? Oiches Gapav B'shtei Yitzbaisav. With the bird is in your hand, you hold the wings with 2 fingers, Ushtei Raglayim B'shtei Yitzbaisav, and you hold the 2 legs with 2 fingers. Umaitzich Savara al Roichav Gidulai, and you stretch the throat over the outer part of the thumb, and umbalka, and he performed the malika to the bird. B'mastita tana, sipur sipra milbar, the bird was on the outside of the kohen's hand, and then you hold the wings with the 2 fingers, and says the Gemara, Vizu avoida kasha shebemikdash. Performing the malika was the difficult, or of the most difficult of the avoida in the Beis Hamikdash. Taisus over here points out that why is it avoida kasha? Because the same hand that you're holding the bird with is the same hand that you're going to be doing the malika with. Says the Gemara, Zuhi v'sulai. Sounds like only this is an avodah kasha. As we've learned already, as well as avodah kasha. Not that it's the only avodah. This is one of the very difficult avodas of the Beis HaMikdash. Now we continue with the rest of the avodah of the Eilas Ha'if. And as we're going to see differences between this and the Chatas Ha'if, says the Mishnah, about 20 lines at the bottom of Zamach Dalet Amud Beis, Eilas Ha'if, Ketzanasis, Aloi Kavijafan L'Soiviv, Ubaloi L'Keren, Droimis Mizrachis, you come to the southeast corner, Ayamali gets Reishi, you do the Malika, Mimolar, Bob to the neck, Umavdil, and you separate umates and you squeeze the stem of the blood, Al Kerem Mizbeach. Not al-Esaroish. Now the Kayin takes the head of the bird, by base milikasa lemizbeach, and he brings the place of the malika against the mizbeach to squeeze out the blood. V'safkai b'melach. After he does that, he saturates the head of the bird with salt. V'zarka, and he throws it al gabi ha'ishim, on top of the fire on the mizbeach. Baloi l'guf, that's the head of the bird. Now he comes to the guf, the body of the bird, and he removes the crap, and the feathers, the intestines, they come out with them, and he throws it to the place of the ashes. Shisa v'loy hivdil, he tears open the body, but he doesn't separate it into 2 pieces. V'im hivdil, then it's fine, kosher. Seifka b'melach, he now saturates the body with salt, and he puts it on top of the fire. You don't remove the crop, the birds, nor the intestines, and you don't saturate it with salt. Anyone that deviates, that he makes it after he squeezes out the blood, Ksheira, it's still going to be kosher. Continues the Mishnah, Hivdel bechatos. If he separated the head of the body by a chatos ha'if. So that first part was Eilas Ha'if. Now when it comes to the Eilas Ha'if, you separate the head of the bird from the body of the bird. Now what if you do it by the chatos ha'if? V'lo hivdel ba'ila. Plus, mitzvah dama harosh, you squeeze out the blood of the head, v'lo mitzvah dama gof, psula. Dama gof, but if you squeeze out the blood of the gof, v'lo mitzvah dama harosh, then ksheira. So says the Gemara, let's go a little bit deeper into really bring us back to the beginning of the Masechta, different machshavos psulais. Chatas oiv shamalka shloile shma. If you did the malika shloile shma, mitzvah dama shloile shma. Squeeze out the blood shloile shma, lishma v'shaloile shma. You did it for both reasons. Oiv shaloile shma v'lishma. Pause. Oilas oiv kshira and oilas oiv. If any of the aforementioned things were done, it's kosher. Also lebailim shev chayva, however, does not work for the owner. Echad chatasayv echad oilasayv shamalkan. That you did malik of shamitza, you squeeze it out. It's taman lechel to eat. Davar shedarka lechel lahakter. Davar shedarka lahakter chutz lemekayma. If you had a machshava, you need it at the wrong place. Pause. But v'im bakars. Chutz lizmanoi, as we've seen so many times, that's a full-fledged pegel, v'chayav and a love, karis. Ubelvad, sheyakrev amatir, kimitzvasai. This is only if it's eventually brought for the mitzvah. Kates and karav amatir, kimitzvasai. What does that mean? Malak, he does the malika bishtika. Quietly, he doesn't have any machshavais. Umitzadam chutz lizmanoi, yoshemal chutz lizmanoi. He did the malika, or the... you did the Shamalach chutz hazmanai mitzadama v'shtika, Shamalach mitzadam chutz hazmanai, mitzadam v'shtika, Shamalach mitzadam chutz hazmanai, zeu shekarav hamatir k'mitzvasei. Says Imar, and what's the flip side? Keitzad loy karav hamatir k'mitzvasei. So now, Malach chutz l'mekayim mitzadama chutz hazmanai. Right away, he did the malika for the wrong purpose. Oy, Shamalach chutz hazmanai u'mitzadam chutz hazmekaymai. Oy, Shamalach u'mitzadam chutz hazmekaymai. In all of these places, as we turn over to Zevachim Amud Aleph, Chatas Oiv, or in the case of Chatas Oiv, Shamalach shlo lishma u'mitzadam chutz hazmanai, or Shamalach chutz hazmanai u'mitzadam shlo lishma, or number 6, Shamalach u'mitzadam shlo lishma. In all of these 6 cases, says the Mishnah, Samachei Amud Aleph, 4 lines down, Zehu, this is what it means, Shaloi Karav Hamater K'mitzvasai, that it's not brought for the right reason. In all these 6 cases, the Machshavas Pegel will not take effect, and there will be no kares. Let's stop over here. It's the middle of a lengthy Mishnah. I'll pick it up from here, as the Mishnah will continue. Other cases that Pegel will not mess up the carbon. B'siyata Dishmai.